Looking for something new to watch? Tired of watching reruns of corny 90s sitcoms with canned laughter? Then join Campaigns of the Plains every Friday and get some real laughs, and cries, and shouts, and breaking dishes. Catch up with our old episodes on our YouTube page, and make sure to hit that subscribe and bell icons.
Welcome to this week's episode of D&D. We're doing a little different this week. We're doing an out-of-character session to recap one of the lost episodes, episode 23, I believe, that we unfortunately had some technical difficulties and have lost the audio, and it's gone. It's bad. So we are going to recap what we missed in that episode, and we're going to talk to a couple of our players to get some of their insights and see how they feel and what's going on. And so to start off, we left our band of adventurers in the tavern, I believe, Courageous Witch, and you guys had just met Lucian, who is Duke's replacement character, Christian's new character. I believe we went over the description previously, but we'll go into it a little bit more. You have like a long billowing cloak, like military like cloak, I believe, with like guns on your side and holsters. You have a large wolf-like dog. What was your dog's name again?
Caius,
thank you. Who is a metal dog, very obedient, but it's fun because I get to play a dog, because woof woof. Because I don't play enough werewolves. But so you guys sat down, talked to Lucian for a bit. There were a couple rooms upstairs that you guys wanted to partake in, so you talked to the bar maiden who mentioned that the chef was missing, so a side quest that I'm sure Eric is super enthusiastic about. How did Eric, not Finnick, I'm sure Finnick's just like, whatever, fuck. How did Eric feel about the potential of a side quest?
Eric felt very successful in the fact that he did not flip over the table when a side quest was mentioned. I'm sure if the audio was there was probably some swearing and a lot of looking around going, really? Really?
I distinctly remember you saying no.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yeah, like, yep, no. Like, I think I basically told people, we can't do this. I'm not interested. Because side quests are great. Because like when I play video games, I love collecting the side quests, and then I love going into the menu and like seeing them and marking and like picking them out.
Right.
When you don't want the story to be over, like you,
right.
like I really like to prolong,
yeah.
And like I'm not 100% completer, but I like to do side quests. But I am not a side quest person when it comes to D&D. I am like point A to point B. Let's not like meander. I like a little chaos, but I do not enjoy a good side quest unless there is a shiny magic weapon at the end for me. But Eric never gets shiny magic. Like, I always feel like we get things and then people take them, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Sometimes, yeah.
It was a baker?
Yes, missing chef.
You might have gotten a
missing
shiny
chef.
magic baguette.
Not interested in a baguette.
What if you could have hit somebody with
Shoot it with your bow.
Nope.
You did get that new bow?
I did get a bow.
New
Like,
shiny bow.
I do like, that's like one of my first magic weapons that was like for me. Because I feel like previous campaigns, I feel like we've always like, I just have never fought for magic weapons. Because like, I like them and I'm like, oh, that's clearly for someone else. And I think sometimes it was for me, but I just didn't know. But that's history.
Boots of striding.
But yeah.
Boots of jumping and striding.
I still don't have them.
They're on Celeste's body? Or
No, Chats has them.
Oh,
Chats has them.
Oh, that's right.
I think everyone's had them but like my characters. So that's just a whole nother story. But yeah,
anyway.
I hate side quests.
Yes. Anyway, so
especially chefs.
Right.
It's not what's his name from the train. I don't care about any other chef.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Eats a lot. King. I don't know.
Like king.
Eats
yes,
like king.
Yes. That's a reference to our one shot, the mystery on the train. What was the name
Mystery
of it?
on the Midnight Veil.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you had said this chef and said his name, I might have been like, okay, I like that chef. But
anyway, so missing chef gives Rowan a temporary job that Sapphire was like, hey, you should do this. So Rowan is sequestered for a large portion of the episode, unfortunately. But he got to do some cooking.
They did a Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Teach the interim chef a little bit of know-how. But you guys head upstairs, talk to Lucian a bit about what his goals are, like why is he here. It turns out Lucian came back to ask for the group's help in his quest to protect the Verdant Lord, who is coming to Underfelix for help. So the Verdant Lord is from Singorn. Singorn is in the nearby vicinity of probably like an hour or two north of this place, of the mountain where you guys are at now. And he's coming to parlay Dominic, the ruler of the mountain currently, for help in the Undead Scourge. The problem is the Verdant Lord is supposed to die before he returns to Singorn. And so you are tasked with defending him, keeping him alive, so he doesn't lead to war. So you need the group's help. So you divulge all this information to them, letting them know, like, you can't do it alone. You're going to need their help to help keep this man that you have very little intel about, unfortunately, as well as the rest of the party. You have rather outdated information. So that is a little bit of flavor you added. What, Christian, made you choose to use that as like a flavor for Lucian? Like, why did you choose to make his data outdated?
I kind of wanted to throw in a little more chaos to the mix. I didn't want to just create a character that had all the answers up front, right?
Sure.
Like, okay, he knows who he's supposed to talk to, but some of them are dead.
Right.
Or maybe weren't there yet. My choice behind it was really just, I thought it might be a little more interesting. Just
sure.
Add a little flavor to the introduction of a new character who is a time traveler.
Right.
So,
being as you're a friend of Duke's compatriot, right? That was you've been sent from the future since they're out of time. Yeah, timey-wimey things. But anyway, so you head out to try and, because you knew that the Verdant Lord was going to come to town at some point today. So you head out with Sapphire, I believe, and Rosemary. Where's Rosemary?
Yeah.
You head out with the other two and your loyal companion to find the Verdant Lord, which you do watch him come in, and Sapphire sees her brother, Onyx, in the group of guards that are help defending this palanquin that the Verdant Lord is coming in on. And all of the guards have like different layers of blood, either dried or fresh. Some have various colorations that don't necessarily look like blood, and some of them look a lot more pristine. But anyway, so you follow the palanquin to the merchant district, where the Verdant Lord gets out and heads into a nearby building that seems heavily guarded, and his guards help kind of disperse the crowd that has formed, since this is a new shiny thing, and of course all the townspeople are curious what's going on. Lucian, since this is the first time you're with this group, did you have any like qualms, or were you worried about like how are they going to handle this? Like, were you worried about them being discreet? Being as you met Sapphire and know how boisterous she is, was that something you ran into? Like, that you thought you kind of needed to take the lead? Or was that...
So, not really. Lucian is just as... He can be just as bad. There was... I mean, I know when we had gotten there, he had said, like, well, sneak in. That was really kind of just like, I mean, you can do stealth stuff. Go in. If it goes bad, we can just start shooting things. That's cool. So I don't know that he's necessarily looking to like take charge of anything.
Okay.
He's here to do a job, and he'll get it done. Just not by any book.
Right. It might be a little messy. It might be
yeah.
There might be some casualties.
No, he's like, my bad. That's his kind of mentality. It's
okay. Good.
A little fast and loose.
Right. Okay, so we'll jump back to the other group, which was you and Chats, that were, I think you were trying to make your way towards the merchant district as well, inadvertently, because you guys were going to dress up as guards and try to sneak in. And so you, Chats was already a guard, and so he helped you with your disguise, and Chats went up and started talking to one of the guards. And the guard seemed very suspicious of what he was getting from this supposed guard that knew what was going on, but he's like, hey, do you know where I can find this place? And the guard that Chats was talking to was, very uneasy about the two of you. And so he pulled you into a alley nearby and started accusing you of not being guards, and it broke out into a scuffle. And so Finnick, I believe, was like ready to run right away. What gave you the inclination that you needed to run instead of stay there and fight?
Well, I feel like Finnick, his first thought was, we can't cause a scene.
Correct.
Like,
sure.
He, one, is used to working by himself, and so it's been, weeks, months that he's been working and like adjusting to working with others and like listening to what they want to do. And I guess my first thought was, I remember when we were in the first town and Rowan was locked up in jail.
Oh yeah.
And no one was wanting to do anything. And so Finnick like went out and was like trying to figure out how to get into the pit himself. And he fought like a wereboar or something like that. And it was the first time I think I ever used like Scout, my little fox.
Yeah.
And like we got annihilated. And I was just thinking, we can't take this person on ourselves. And we can't cause a scene because there's even more guards around, because we knew this palanquin was coming in and like people were on alert. Right. Because like Chats and I are fairly strong and fairly quick, but we can't take these people on. We can't cause a scene. And so I remember like, hey, let's get out of here. And so I took off thinking like Chats was like, oh, I can run fast too. Let's get out of here. We're nimble fucks.
Yeah.
And that did not happen.
Nope.
So Eric, was panicking because I don't ever want my decisions to harm my like friends' characters. Sure. Like I could kill my character if you want. Like I will think of something different and it'll be something I like change. Sure. And so like, oh, as much as I enjoy Finnick, like if Finnick makes a stupid decision, shame on him. But I like was like freaking out because I know Travis is so attached to Chats. He's been playing him for 3 years. Right. Like I was like, crap, I just killed Chats. And I couldn't do it. And then also like if Chats dies or something has like, what are we doing here? Right. You know what I mean? So luckily things changed and like kind of worked out. But like my first thought was like, I want to fight. Like Eric's like, yes, roll for initiative. But Finnick was like, now's not the time. Like we can't do this. Also, we are 3 feet away. How am I supposed to shoot you with a bow? Right. I gave you my good sword, Chats. Let's get out of here. Yeah. So like that, my first thought was, oh yeah, we're gonna like, we haven't had some combat for a while. This would be fun. Sure. This is not smart. Right. So I was trying to like, hey, let's get out of here. Right. And I thought we were on the same page. Finnick and Chats were not. No, Chats was very much like, let's stay and fight. Like, yeah. And so you bolted off right at the very beginning. And so Chats is like, I guess. And so I think he took a little damage. Yeah. But he did manage to run away. And there was a whole chase sequence where you went back to the Courageous Witch, kind of just like, you're like, okay, I don't know where else to go. So. Yeah, I didn't know where else to go, and I figured Chats would also do the same. Like, that's at that point the home base. So, like, if you get separated, it only makes sense to go back to there because, like, I knew we had rooms and we could go hide and like just get away. That makes sense. That was my thought. And then I was like, oh god, Chats is dead. And that's not cool. Right. So Chats ran away. He ends up running up a building to make his escape from this guard.
In the meantime, the other group is trying to find Sapphire, as she had run ahead to try and make contact with Onyx, which she catches his eye as he's guarding the palanquin. And they basically, without words, acknowledge that they will meet later. And so Rosemary and Lucian eventually find her in the crowd and make their way back to the Courageous Witch. I believe she has I believe Sapphire has Rosemary message, like send Onyx a message to tell him to come to the Courageous Witch. So Onyx does come back to the Courageous Witch and sits down with Sapphire, and like they hash it out. She tells him that his mother is dead, which he had not known that, so he was angry and sad at the same time because he was very close to his mother. I believe Sapphire also told him about their uncle and how he is coming to try and kill them. And so he was obviously very worried about that. I believe everyone is coming back, except for Rowan and Lucian, who run off to go find Chats. Onyx then talks about why he's with this guard, being as he's not with Amethyst, which is Sapphire's other sibling, as they've been separated. They left at different times. It was much later that Onyx left and was lost in the Verdant Expanse, which then he was found by some of the guards from the Shifting Keep, and he took refuge there, which is an outpost from Singorn. Mostly elves. They look over the Verdant Expanse, and obviously this black ichor ooze and undead blight on the Verdant Expanse has really caused issues with them. And so, after being saved by them, Onyx joins up and helps defend the Shifting Keep and, in turn, Singorn. And so he's helping with the Verdant Lord's expedition to get some help. So, during all of this, while Onyx is talking, Lucian and Rowan head off to go find Chats, which they find him a little ways away on the top of a roof as he was hiding from the guard. And you guys bring him back, and you manage to all get together and have a meal and start chatting.
Really, we're chatting.
We're chatting, yes. But that's basically the entire episode. So, hold
on a second.
Did you have something?
From the crowd, wasn't this the episode where we were shortcaking people?
Yeah!
Oh, we didn't mention shortcaking.
Didn't get recorded shortcaking?
No!
Oh, that's too bad.
Did you not like shortcaking?
I didn't care for shortcaking.
Oh, okay.
It was funny, but I felt like we've done better.
Sure.
But shortcaking was fun. It was just...
we had a euphemism for killing someone, like murder, essentially.
Because Lucian was being very broad about it.
Correct, and so you made us like a fake...
I mean, yeah, like, so he's assassinated people, right? But,
right.
Look, I'm a legitimate, like, member of some, like, organization thing. Like, we can't go with killing. Like, that's just...
Right. What was you did name drop.
We did name drop, yes. So Lucian is a member of the Temporal Order.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't go into detail on what the Temporal Order is. I'm sure that will come out soon enough. But that was a good name drop of something to ask about in the future. But what? So, being as Finnick has been kind of Sapphire's confidant for a while. Yeah. And you guys had previously at one point said, we can just fuck off and we can go. Like, how does Onyx being here, how do you think that affects your relationship? And if it does in any way? As well as Lucian, as he is a new shiny thing.
I guess, like, Finnick isn't concerned about Onyx, because there's, like, clearly, like, no romantic relationship.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Even though, like, it's so like, will they or won't they with Sapphire and Finnick? Like, it depends. I feel like it depends on the session, like what we're doing and what we're into, and like whatever. But there's clearly like that vibe going on, right? So I think Finnick is excited that Onyx is there because it's one more person, and there's no like he's not a suitor. Like he's not. Right. He doesn't have to be worried about him if we're at that level.
Sure.
And then Lucian, I just don't think he trusts him yet because he's new.
Right.
I love shiny. Like Eric's like, oh, there's new stuff.
Right.
Like when that all happened, I was like, what? Like I love stuff. I like that kind of shit. But Finnick does not like surprises, and I think he's like, who are like because even in the episode he was going around and he was trying to figure out who we were, and like Finnick didn't give him his real name. He's like, he's like, I don't know who you are. Like you don't know who. Like you don't really have information on me. I'm not going to give you any more information.
Right.
Like as a loner, like you don't need to know anything about me. Like I will tell you what you need to know. So I think he's a little more aware of Lucian. But I just don't think he's earned his trust yet. Like
that makes sense.
I feel like there's Finnick has trust issues.
Right, yeah.
And like I feel like he's been slowly working through those with the other people. Like he was trying to gain Chatz's what's the word I'm looking for? Acceptance, maybe, because there was tension there, and then clearly was trying to like make up where things had happened between him and Duke. I don't think he's realized Duke is gone yet,
right?
Because I don't think we've had that conversation. He's like Duke just hasn't been around for a while,
right?
Did you mention that he's gone? Like, did Lucian?
I believe Lucian did mention that,
but I don't know if Finnick was there.
Sent him like.
Yeah,
true. I mean,
I don't know if
but Duke could have sent him and still been around.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Finnick has realized that because it's been
a day,
12 hours or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I don't think he realized that because Duke sometimes just is like
aloof,
very like background, right?
Sure.
And so I don't think he realized that he's gone yet. He's probably like, who's this guy that we met him in a bar? Like, I don't really know. And then he hasn't really dealt with Lucian because Lucian went with like Sapphire and Rosemary, and like he went out with Chats. So I don't think he even really has interacted much with him. Because I don't think he's like, who's this? I don't need to know who this guy is. Like,
right.
Because like in his head, he's not part of the party.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So he's not worried about him. He's more of like, who the fuck are you? Like, you know?
Do you consider him like a threat as like a suitor for Sapphire though? Like a potential threat?
Because I don't think Finnick realizes that he is going to be around longer. Like, I think he really thinks, because Sapphire is just a flirt.
Sure.
Like, she will flirt with everything if it moves. Like, there's some pretty rocks that she likes. You know what I mean? Like, that's just Sapphire. She's just a high energy, charismatic person.
Right.
So, like, he's obviously has probably seen him, Sapphire flirt with Lucian or whatever, but that's just like, Finnick, I think, reasons that it's her way to gain people's trust so she can get things that she wants. Like, it's that little bit of manipulative, like, Sapphire is just like, oh, hey, big boy. And, like, she gets what she wants then. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure he's just like, and also, will they, won't they? Like, I don't even know if Finnick and her want each other at this point. Like, I think there's something, but I don't even know if it's even that romantic, like, level anymore. Like, it's moved beyond. Like, we've had that conversation of, like, hey, should we just get out of here? Like, who are these people? And that mainly came from Sapphire. And Finnick's like, oh, I thought we were here. Like, I thought we were doing this. Like, he's trying to, like, become friends with these people because he's never really had friends. He grew up very alone. And suddenly this person's like, that he's probably closest to is like, let's get the fuck out of here. And he's like, but aren't we? Just like yesterday, like, we were staying here. Like, this is what we're doing? Like. And so I think he's confused on that. So yeah, I don't think he has realized that, like, Lucian is here and there might be another, like, you know, triangle thing going on.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that progresses. Like, if obviously Lucian's going to be around for a little bit longer. I mean,
who knows?
Depending how.
Right.
Because, I mean, if you don't succeed, maybe something happens to Lucian and he just, like, disappears out, like, this timey-wimey shit.
Right.
He just, like, pops out of existence because
that's the best thing. Like, I hate time shit, but, like, just because I'm not very smart, it gets confusing.
Right.
But it's very interesting because, like, yeah, like, is Lucian here for 4 episodes and then, like, he goes away and then dude comes back? Like that's, like, I don't know. So I want to know. I assume you guys want to, like, continue watching.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's what I'm here for. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I have an idea.
I don't even know if Christian knows. Do you know?
I mean, I talked about an idea. I just don't know what timetables were.
Right. I also like, because I like new things, like I said before, and so like Finnick was a new character, and in my mind, he was going to be here for 4 episodes, and I think he's been here for like
15, 20, whatever. Yeah.
20. Like I don't even know.
Yeah.
So like I think you have an idea when you make stuff,
Right.
and then like
Yeah.
there's 5 other people that your idea is this, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're doing this now. Like, which is maybe that's what D&D is all about. Like you guys have played much longer than I have, but that's what always surprises me is like, I don't know, I am a very like straight thinker when I'm like this means this and that goes that, but then I'm like, oh crap, and now we're doing this, and like it's very interesting to like tell this story together.
Right. Like
And
you wouldn't necessarily go that path because
No.
you wouldn't go that path, but the group
No.
is going that path.
Yeah,
so
right.
you're like, I guess I'm going with.
90% of the shit we do, I was like, oh, I wouldn't do this at all. And side quests. But like those are the most like fun we've had.
Right.
Like we do some weird chaotic shit. And like those are the things where we leave and you're like, oh my god, we just played for like 8 hours. It's 3 a.m. I have to be up in 2 hours, but I am so glad I did that
Right.
because that was so fun, so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I agree. It does get really chaotic sometimes. It's kind of hard to wrangle you guys in occasionally.
we can't be wrangled.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right.
I mean, you've seen my dexterity. I can't be wrangled.
Especially with this loose-
Duke's had senior dexterity.
Right.
So.
Right. Oh, with the fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you wondering what your favorite wacky nerds are up to? Search for Campaigns of the Plains on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and make sure to follow and like us to keep up with all our content and news. You might also find exclusive content for fans only. Remember to catch us on YouTube every Friday at noon for a new episode of Campaigns of the Plains.
With this loose cannon Lucian.
Is that her name now?
I just made that.
Loose
so-
cannon?
I mean, he's kind of a
He's
loose
got
cannon.
cannons.
Yeah, he does.
He shoots from the hip.
Right. Which you haven't explained your guns yet to anybody.
Yeah,
so like
there hasn't been any sort of combat to really like.
to bring it.
I
out,
want to really hold some of like. I'll hint that there's actually some pretty exciting stuff about his combat, but I'm really holding some of that on the back burner until it
I
happens.
have been looking at your character, so yes, I understand. There's a lot of things.
Yeah,
It's so confusing.
It is. It's a
Like-
lot.
I don't know if I know how to fight anymore. It's been a long time since we've had combat. So I like in my like notebook, I created a cheat sheet for what's going on with Finnick.
Sure.
Because I thought we were going to have combat about 5 sessions ago, and we haven't.
You can pick a fight.
And so that's why when there was the fight in the alleyway, I was like, fuck yeah! And then I was like, no.
You're like, I can do this spell, I can do this.
Yeah, and I was like, but no.
No.
Like, this isn't smart. That's like,
Right.
so, and that's, the hard thing is, I'm not a great role player. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to, like, tell a story. And so a lot of my characters probably come from the same headspace as myself. But, like, that was a situation where, like, yeah, I want to get into a fight, because to me that's interesting.
Mhm.
But also, like, you have to realize that's not what the character would do.
Right.
And so, like, that's, like, those are moments where, like, okay, that's, like, you have to put yourself into that, and, like, that's really hard for me as a person, because, like, it's not how I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really want to, like, use my cheat sheet and, like, fight. So, but you get, like, but also it's, like, is it the right thing to do?
Right. Like, especially in a city environment, it's hard to just throw combat in sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you could fight some guards, sure. Like,
No.
like you fought some books at one point and you evaded some guards a couple episodes ago. But yeah, it's like you said, it's not smart to just like pick
No.
fights with guards.
No.
So
And I know a lot of people, and I've seen other, like, campaigns and read stuff where I feel like people are, you know, I hate to, like, murder hobo-y and stuff like that. And it's
Right.
like, that's really fun because, like, sometimes, as long as that's what you as a group of people want to do,
Mhm.
that's great. But I don't think that's what we're here for. I think we're here to tell an interesting story and, like, do that. So like, I want a murder hobo. Like that sounds like a lot of fun, but I know it's not appropriate.
Right. Which I'm sure everyone appreciates.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, we would not have played nearly this long if we were all murder hobo.
No. I mean, unless we collectively, that's what we wanted to do.
Right. You can't tell a story like that.
No.
Like, if an NPC looks at you the wrong way, stab.
Right.
Like, oh, well, I guess I can't give you exposition.
Yeah.
Oops.
Right.
I guess it comes from the gods or something, you know what I mean? But
it does feel good to kill things. Doesn't it?
I mean, sure. I'm sure Lucian would agree.
Yeah, I know. I just like, I want to see like what Lucian can do. Like, I mean, Finnick does like, who the fuck, like whatever, like, but like Eric is like, oh, shiny new. What do? You got a dog. You do this. You got a coat. Like, I like tricks because I like how, like, seeing how other people think. Because I'm so caught on like spellcasters and whatnot. So like thinking outside of spellcaster, though, I think you're like spellcaster adjacent. I feel like there's some spellcaster in there. Definitely. I feel like there's some stuff
there's
going
some
on.
magic.
So like I'm interested in that because like I want to know what's going on. So like I like, it's interesting seeing how your friends think and how they build things. Like I could sit down. I just want to have another show where we talk about like building characters because that's all I want to do. Like
the backstory and like why this person has this.
Yeah, I legit like will think about like different backstories and different things, and I go into like the creator and like start making stuff, and then I'm just like, it's another tiefling warlock. And, like, I was like, how did that happen? But I was like, I'm going to do something different, and it's always a tiefling warlock. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that says about my mind,
right?
But like, I like talking to people and like figuring out how they think and like. Some of the builds that people come with, I'm like, that's amazing. I'm like, mine just has a sword that like is on fire. Like, I'm so like, I don't know.
I mean, that's great too. Like, I feel like it really takes a lot to know a lot about this type of character works well with this type of class and blah blah blah. And like for example, the artificer I feel like is very nitty gritty. Like it's basically like a wizard, like, but it has mechanical stuff. So like,
I'm not smart enough to do that.
I think I would have trouble with it too. Like, I feel like it's definitely one of those you have to like really get used to it. Versus like a sorcerer is like, oh, you got like 5 spells. Boop boop boop.
I still can't do that.
You had Fireball. You use that a lot
all the time. I didn't miss Fireball.
Right.
I do have a Fireball necklace.
You do.
And I just haven't been able to use it.
Right.
I also have a dog too. So at one point, I was thinking about this the other day. This is like foreshadowing. I feel like the dogs need to play with each other. But like we need to like have a
play date.
Well, like we need to have like free time.
Oh, right.
Like we need to like get through imminent danger and then take them to doggy daycare.
Right.
Because I've never done the dog statue.
Oh, yep.
So I think that'd be interesting to do and see how like your puppy interacts with like like a fake dog. Yeah.
Right.
So
I'm sure it'll be
like Scooby-Doo and Astro crossover.
Yeah. I like that.
But yeah, so like there's things about that. So
I know we talked about it off camera, but like with Scout being injured, is that something that you think you will ask Lucian about like fixing?
So that was like my first thought when I figured out I think you're an artificer. Like you haven't proved, like I assume that's what you are, but Finnick doesn't know that. But like that's the thing, I'm trying to think ahead because I'm very reactionary. At least that's how I've always played. Is like, this is what's going on in this situation, which helps because you're like, okay, this is what's going on, this is what should happen. But I'm also thinking about like what I want to do with my story and how it interacts with like the other characters. And when Scout like was utterly destroyed the first time he came out, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I felt a little bad about that.
That's all right. It is what it is. Like I said before, like I don't want any of my other like friends' characters to die because of my decisions, but like that was clearly not a great decision maybe. So like, I can't get mad at like decisions that I've made. But yeah, so that was my thought as like, oh, I need to like talk to Lucian, but also it doesn't make sense for be like, oh, hey guy, I don't know, can you fix this thing? Like, so I think it's like in the future,
right?
Like depending on what their bond is like, if they get along or whatnot, that's kind of like my thought is like, oh, if we got some time, because I don't know how long something like that would take. Is it like I assume it's like a tinkering thing, or like there's like you need like a workshop. I don't know how this works.
Right. I mean, Lucian would probably have to take a little time, probably, but because he obviously either made or bought his companion,
like
so
he would know.
He would have some idea of how to fix it, probably.
Right.
So I feel like that's on brand for him.
Yeah.
But
I just seem fitting to figure that out.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious.
Because I don't think he's probably ever met an artificer.
Right.
Like, he's lived in, like, a small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've never played, like, never interacted really with one, that I can think of.
Nope.
We've never met one, so I think it's a new thing, so he's probably like, what is that?
Right.
And, like, but I don't know, then part of me argues, well, would he know, because he clearly has, like, a magical construct?
Right.
So...
like, this magical thing I have, that
it's equates to that, like, this is broken, make it better.
Right.
So, so in theory, that's probably what's going to happen. I just don't know what the timeline on that is. I don't know if Christian knows that he was going to fix my fox.
We vaguely talked about it, and I was like, maybe if you have some ideas of how to improve it, and we talked about it as well.
Yeah, we talked about it, so...
Yep. So, I'm curious to see what comes of that.
Yeah,
that'll be a good, like, bonding moment, potentially. Like...
Hey, he just puts a bomb in it, so every time I use it, it blows me up. Like, who knows? Like, that's like...
There'll be revenge for every time you hit a Duke with fireballs.
Oh, I miss that.
Yeah.
Not that I missed Hurdy Duke, but I miss, like, just be like, oh, it's Duke? Yeah, he's fine. He's raging. Like, Bert.
Yeah, right?
He can make it. I don't think I ever killed Duke.
No, you didn't. You just scorched him a little bit. If only he was a red Dragonborn, then it would have done very little damage. Right. Because it would have been half.
They have like the new colors of Dragonborn now.
Oh,
have you seen? There's like the jewel tone ones, and I was like, well, I might need to be a jewel tone Dragonborn, like. And then I put that in, and I'm like, fuck, it's still a Tiefling Warlock. So I don't know how that happens.
Something I just remembered. Chats was pretending to be a human. Hubert Man, when he first was introduced to Lucian, but then he did eventually reveal himself to Onyx and Lucian at the end of the episode, and said that he was the Cat Lord. Well, I think it just Chats Cat Mutant.
Yeah.
But they immediately were surprised and confused, as supposedly Chats has been dead for hundreds of years. So,
did we talk about how cool Onyx looks?
Oh yeah,
like
with his short white hair and pale skin, similar to his mother's, and purple eyes with small black horns on his forehead. Yep,
that's amazing.
Yep. I mean, and he would have he's obviously a paladin. Like, it's very obvious he has like plate armor with a shield that has the symbol of Cord, a large lightning bolt. In a fist. So, that was initially what Sapphire noticed about his armor and his insignia, because she knew that Onyx was a devout worshiper of Cord. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other questions that I have. Do you guys have any questions about the session? Even from the Peanut Gallery?
I don't know that I really have any other questions.
I feel like there's some build up. Obviously, like, you'll have to find out where the Vance Lord is going next. Potentially Onyx might be able to help you with that. Yeah, I think we're good. No more questions. Cool. We good? Did you have anything?
I don't know. I am just interested. Like, I guess, like, on your end, I feel like everything that we've homebrewed since, like, we exited, like, Barovia and the Curse of Straw that we started with, like, playing for 2 years or whatever.
Sure.
It's really interesting because I feel like you've been laying this groundwork of this ichor and ooze, and, like, I feel like we don't have a whole lot of info about it. And then also we just went, like, 100% chats. Like, we just went straight into, like, the mountain.
Sure.
I will talk about how much I despise the mountain.
We've been trying to get to the mountain for so long.
Oh my god! I thought we were on the mountain until I realized we were just on the edge of the mountain, and then there's more mountain, and I was just like,
"You're in the
too
town."
Much. There was like, there's things, and like, and it's just weird because it's not from my head; it's all from like Travis' head, and like talking about like what he created. I'm like so amazed that like what it is. But I'm just like, oh, this mountain is like driving me crazy. But it's very interesting to like have all that kind of like weirdly build up that like it felt like something, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, we're doing this Snowy Mountain, and like it's always been there. But now I'm interested because like I did not see you come in with Lucian, and then suddenly this Singorn, like high elf or whatever he is coming in, and he's asking for help for it, and I'm interested to see how that's going to tie in with what we're doing. Like I love that like subtlety that I think that was happening. I don't know if subtle, but like things were happening that were very like just in the background almost. Right? Like, because I feel like we were just running away from it.
Right.
We're like, this is like some shit. We're like, we don't know what that is. Like,
right. You're just
and like, I'm interested to see how they are coming together now. That's really interesting. And also Finnick, who has like taken up a new mantle, as basically Captain Planet. Like,
yeah,
I think he's interested in what's going on there. Like, he obviously made like a pledge to kind of protect nature, and has always wanted to. Like, he is like a farm boy, right?
Sure.
So I'm interested to see what's going on there, and I assume that's something that you always had planned. I don't know. I'm really excited about that. I guess I don't know if there's a question, but
yeah. If you remember back a long time ago, before you even met Father Isaac, you guys had an encounter with a tree, and you guys went into the basement of a tree, and that's where Ember got sucked away. Like that was like the beginning of the arc, but there wasn't a lot necessarily there to find.
Yeah.
But you guys were like, yeah, let's go see Father Isaac and just talk to him for a bit and hang out and see. And then you're like, okay, let's go to Snoring Mountain. And like you guys just like went through this large forest of, undead black ichor ooze. And then you were hanging out in Tarn for the longest time. And then the ooze kind of caught up with you.
A little bit, right?
So yeah, it's been an ongoing theme.
Yeah.
But obviously, yes, they're tying together in some fashion.
Interested,
so yes, that definitely will come to a head sooner rather than later.
Interested.
But
I have all my crazy theories, but I don't know if any of them are good.
I mean, they might be. I mean, you might be 100% on the nose. Who knows?
But yeah, but I'm excited about that. Like, just because I like that like tension.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be nice to have those come together and like see what happens. And like, I like things like I like pacing, and like I think we're like getting there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're definitely getting to the point where you have a couple things you want to do, potentially take out the two heads of the school and the guard, and then like go into the castle. Like I think that's kind of the idea. But we'll see how that actually plays out. I mean, you could probably go in and assassinate them pretty easily if you really wanted to. But there's definitely going to be some interesting ramifications of said things. Right. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how you guys turn out with that.
Right. I also want to know what was on Kudath's girlfriend's body. Like that, like I like wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that body in temporal space.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the fuck is on her? Like,
maybe some really good shit. You'll
probably
never
like the best weapon in the world.
You'll never know.
Because I think she had a whip. Didn't she have a cool whip?
I don't remember.
Didn't some have? No, maybe that was another.
Are you thinking about the whip that from the way back?
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
That was a long.
That was a long. That was like Ember's birth.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, before even streaming. Like,
I was in your old apartment.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we will see how you guys progress. But if we don't have any more questions, I guess we will end it there for tonight.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So then this is 23.
Like wrap up of 23.
Oh,
are we just going to call it 23 and us?
Oh, I like that. Instead of 23 and me.
Yeah, so we don't get sued.
Right, yeah. I mean, I don't think they would sue for the name of an episode.
Who knows?
I don't know. That's been a weird like dance.
Oh, making sure you're not using actual names.
Make sure that I don't like pick something that gets us.
Dinkin' Donuts was good.
That was.
I would shop at Dinkin' Donuts.
Right? Yeah.
If I could go and buy weed and get some donuts, I think it would be a very successful business.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's not a business already.
Well, I'm sure on the coast, right?
Sure, yeah, where it's legal.
Yeah,
but.